is Good Morning Indiana, working for you.
We don't know why this happened to us. A lot of folks don't know why these things happen to their family.
Only on RTV6, the families of two girls killed in Delphi, turning their pain to new purposes to benefit kids and families. The outreach and why this catchphrase,
people will come, Ray. People will most definitely come,
is key to a project underway.
More people than ever before are listening to podcasts. In the car and at home, new this morning how the new form of entertainment is helping solve cold cases.
And a Johnson County man is looking to preserve small town history. How his big idea is giving that community a place to come together and grow.
It is 6 o'clock here on your Friday, Valentine's Day. We hope you're waking up early, maybe heading out to grab that bouquet of flowers for your loved one.
You're going to need that love because it is cold outside.
It is frigid, and Todd was telling us earlier, Raphael, we haven't seen temps like this since March of last year. Can you believe that?
Whoa.
Yeah, we've been in the single digits. We got down to 9 degrees once earlier in January and once December, but we have not been down to 4 degrees since March of last year when we got down to 2 degrees. And we may give that a run for its money here with a couple hours still as these temperatures will fall. And look at these temperatures to the north, -3 in Peru, -2 in Lafayette now. I'll give you a few other views, -2 in Logansport, -5 in Kokomo. So it's frigid to the north. Those temperatures running a little bit colder due to more snow on the ground from the storm system that we just went through earlier this week. Actual temperatures, when you factor in the wind, it feels like it's a little colder. -16 in Peru, -11 is what it feels like currently in Indianapolis. The skies are clear, so you don't have to worry about any precipitation for your morning commute, but you definitely need to bundle up as it is a frigid start to our day, and really there's not a whole lot of warming that takes place. High temperatures on this Valentine's Day only get to right around 20 degrees.
All right, Todd, thanks so much. Traffic is moving along pretty well this morning on this frigid Friday. This is I-465 at Arlington Avenue on the southeast side. Traffic here is moving along up to speed here in both directions, eastbound and westbound, so that is good news. Keep in mind, a reminder for the safety of you and your vehicle, don't leave it out there to warm up, even though that sounds tempting. It is a open invitation for criminals to come take your car. So that's a reminder now that we're down into these frigid temperatures this morning. And you also just got a push alert from us here at RTV6 on the app. It alerts you to dozens of school delays we're monitoring this morning. We're currently at about 45 delays. Those schools are on modified schedules because of the cold weather. You can open that push alert to see if your child's school is delayed this morning.
The time now is 6:03. The phrase, "Today is a day," is the motto of the investigators seeking to find the person who killed two Delphi girls. It's been 3 years since the bodies of Abby Williams and Libby German were found. Today, their families plan to be busy. On this Valentine's Day, their hearts are full of memories, but heartbroken over their loss.
Kindergarten graduation, soccer, first Christmas, she was a big stocking.
The lampshade is special to Anna Williams. It is among the last gifts she received from her daughter. The photographs are among the many that light up the living room where we talked.
Justice will be served, and working to help other people will also be part of that for me.
Anna's daughter Abby and her teenage friend Libby were killed in February 2017 near the old Monon High Bridge in Delphi. 40,000 tips, and 3 years later, Anna spends her time supporting charitable causes in Abby's name.
It's about doing the right thing and supporting other people.
Whether getting the community to help with the Abby's Angels effort, in which hundreds of shoeboxes filled with school supplies and hygiene products are sent to kids worldwide through the Operation Christmas Child campaign, or traveling to Iowa in July for a bike ride to support the families of two cousins killed in 2012. Like the Delphi case, The girls went missing along a trail area, and the case remains unsolved.
Other folks that have gone through that are now part of our family too. We know how they're feeling, they know how we're feeling, and you don't have to talk about it.
While in Iowa, Anna stopped by the baseball field made famous in the movie Field of Dreams.
And I had Abby's picture with me for that.
Abby and Libby planned to play softball, so the movie's popular catchphrase hits close to home.
People will come, Ray. People will most definitely come.
A park in honor of Abby and Libby is being built with the intention of drawing youth and families from miles around.
That really is our hope. It is our hope that as it is built in the many years that it will continue to evolve, that it will always be a peaceful place. It'll be a place that the girls will be proud of.
This morning, Anna also tells me that long-term, she wants to do more with families facing a loss. She also says, don't be surprised if she shows up at a charity event that she believes in. She may be among the crowd. This morning, law enforcement encourages you, if you have any information about this case, to give them a call. The tip line, ready to take your call, 844-459-5786. New at 6:30, we'll hear from Libby's family. And of course, you can always find all of our stories and our coverage of the Delphi daughters right now on the indychannel.com/Delphi.
As we remember the day Libby and Abby were found 3 years ago, law enforcement continues to search for their killer.
Meanwhile, others are working to delve further into the Delphi daughters case. Who were they? What happened? They're trying to keep the story in the forefront of our minds in hopes of finding answers. Our Alyssa Donovan is joining us live this morning. And Alyssa, you spoke with producers of a new podcast that focuses completely on this case.
That's right, Lauren. So their goal, the producers of this podcast, is really just to keep this story alive and do it on a new medium like podcasting in the hopes that they can reach a wider audience that maybe isn't as familiar with the details of what happened in February of 2017. Now, the podcast Down the Hill will take listeners through the day the girls went missing to the minute they were found and the investigation that followed. Andrew Iden and Barbara McDonald tell me that listeners will hear from people in community, law enforcement, and family members of both Abby and Libby. True crime podcasts have been credited with helping authorities with other cases, like the podcast The Murder Squad, which was recently credited with leading to an arrest in a cold case from the 80s. Iden and McDonald say that's not what they set out to do with this podcast, but if it helps more tips come in, they'll be happy.
Hopefully the story can just find new ears. Really, that's all we can hope for, because that's how something like this gets solved.
Yeah. And the podcast is available right now. There will be new episodes each week through March. And we did reach out to law enforcement. I spoke with Sergeant Kim Riley, who was interviewed on this podcast. He's part of the Indiana State Police. And I asked him, how does he feel about this podcast? And he said, whatever helps keep this story going and helps more tips come in is a good thing. Reporting live, Alyssa Donovan, RTV6.
Alyssa, thank you. The time now is 6:08. The quest in getting justice for a beloved member of a Northside community is moving forward this morning. Police say that they've arrested this man, Curtis Baker, for a deadly shooting at a Broad Ripple bar. Baker was captured in Michigan on Tuesday night. You may remember 36-year-old Alfred Hayes was shot and killed at Connor's Pub back in October. Hayes also worked at the Casbah Club as a security manager, where he was known as a director and thespian. This morning, investigators are working to extradite Curtis Baker back to Indiana.
The time now is 6:08. The man accused of killing a prominent Indianapolis doctor has changed his mind, putting this high-profile case now on hold. That's because Devin Seats withdrew his guilty plea in the 2017 murder of Dr. Kevin Rogers. In January, the 19-year-old signed a plea agreement admitting to breaking into Dr. Rogers' home on the city's northwest side and killing him. We're told this morning that there are legal questions surrounding whether Seats can now backtrack on this case. Marion County Prosecutor Ryan Mears says the Rogers family is heartbroken.
I've been with this case literally from the day it was filed, and just having that relationship with the Rogers family and just seeing what they've gone through, it really just breaks your heart. But we're always going to act in the best interest of the case, and we'll move forward as in whatever way the judge deems appropriate.
So what is next in this case? A decision on the plea withdrawal is scheduled now for February the 27th. If the judge accepts that withdrawal, Seats would go on trial.
Buses on Indigo's Red Line have been running their route from Broad Ripple to the University of Indianapolis for several months. Now, Indigo is turning its attention to the Purple Line. The latest design uses existing Red Line infrastructure on Capitol Avenue to get the buses out of downtown. The design also calls for large portions of 38th Street to be converted from 4 lanes of cars to 1 bus lane and 1 car lane in each direction. This morning, not everyone is on board with those changes.
I just wish that people like myself who are paying wheel tax, surtax, license plate tax, we would flow freely through the city as opposed to being constricted because they're creating artificial choke points in terms of traffic congestion.
I just think right now it's a totally uneven playing field as far as transportation options in Marion County. People are used to the car culture here, and I think it's time to have a change in that thought process.
Construction on the Purple Line is set to begin next year. If everything goes as planned, the $155 million project will be in operation by 2023.
It is 6:11. After losing 4 straight, IU badly needed a win at home, considering 4 of the next 5 are on the road. Well, the Hoosiers were hosting 21st ranked Iowa with their NCAA tournament hopes on the line. Danny Gree with an LA Laker on his all-star break, checking out his little brother Devontae. IU was hot from the start of that game, and they never cooled off. The Hoosiers would use 11 three-pointers to their advantage, and they wouldn't let the Hawkeyes get within single digits in the second half. The Crim and Crimson getting that much-needed W in B-Town, 89-77.
For the most part, our team, handled what we needed to. We're handling a little bit of adversity like all teams in our league are right now, but you're always one win away from the next one. So for us, this is a good one to get back on the winning track.
Well, the Hoosiers travel to Michigan to face the Wolverines on Sunday.
A game to watch. Every day, Hiring Hoosiers explores the needs of Central Indiana's growing workforce. New at 6:14, how educators are trying to encourage young black men to find their calling inside the classroom. But first, let's check in with Todd Clausen over at the Tracking Center. Good morning, Todd.
Raphael, good morning to you. It's a frigid start to our Friday here across Central Indiana. In fact, with the temperature now down to 3 degrees, it's the coldest temperature we have seen since March 4th of last year. It's going to be slow to warm on this Valentine's Day. We'll talk all about it coming up in your Storm Team 6 forecast. The time now, 6:12. Stay with us. We'll be back in just a few minutes.
Flooring, floors to your home, that too.
RTV6's Hiring Hoosiers is looking to the future, showing how efforts to recruit now could lead to a shift in certain fields.
And now there's a push to recruit young black men to enter the teaching profession.
So we know right now there's a shortage of black teachers in Indiana, especially black men. So we checked with Indianapolis Public Schools, and black men make up just 5% of the teaching staff. That's in a district with a greater percentage of African-American students. So Marion University is now collaborating with the United Negro College Fund, holding community conversations to raise awareness about the need for more African Americans to enter into education. The dean of Marion's Education College says it's imperative students see someone leading a class who looks like they do.
If you think about it, there aren't very many people who go through 13 years of education and have an African American male teacher. It just doesn't happen very often, and that in and of itself needs to change. But more importantly, if you look at the impact that black males have on students of color, it's dramatic.
For me, there's not anything better than this, because you get to work with black youth day after day and help them find who they are, expose them to different texts, and just hold community with them. Teaching is a great way to give back to your community.
Marion University is looking to onboard more students of color into its degree programs, and UNCF is looking to ease the financial barriers for those students as well. For more information on this collaborative effort and their programs, we've provided links for you. Just go to hiringhoosiers.com.
The town of Trafalgar has a little more than 1,200 people who live there.
And this morning, one Johnson County man is working to turn a part of its unused history into a place the community can gather and grow. Our Kelsey Anderson joins us live this morning with this story. Kelsey, good morning. Tell us more about this fantastic place.
Hey, good morning. So this used to be the line that kids would go down for lunch at Indian Creek Elementary. But if you look this way, now it is the dream kitchen of James Lockard, who was leasing the school and now is running his restaurant, and he lives here. So Lockard tells me that he saw the for lease sign as he was just running errands one day, and that's when he made the decision to buy the school. He says now he's hoping that the community can also get involved in this massive project.
We partnered with the Johnson County Library. They're going to be coming in, doing a bunch of programs for the smaller kids. And then a lot of people have been wanting to come in just to see the school because they either went here or their kids went here.
You weren't on camera, were you?
No. Lockard also plans to allow other entrepreneurs to rent out the unused classrooms so they can start on their own business ideas. Now, this building is 67,000 square feet, so Lockard knows that the options here are endless. Reporting live, Kelsey Anderson, RTV6.
All right, that's pretty cool there, Kelsey. Thanks so much for that story. A nice home-cooked breakfast sounds pretty good right now.
Yes.
To warm me up. Some
hot chocolate, some waffles.
Yeah.
Anything hot.
Heart-shaped pancakes for Valentine's Day, maybe? Yeah.
All right, so get on that, Todd.
It all sounds good to me. You know, just bundle up. If you take anything from this forecast, that's what you need to take here this morning, because it is frigid out there, and it's temperatures we haven't seen in quite a while across central Indiana. -2 degrees right now in Kokomo, 4 in Indianapolis, Martinsville down to 3 degrees, Bloomington you're at 7, and we have a little bit of a wind out there this morning, and that's putting wind chill values down into the negative numbers. It feels like 11 below in Indy, 16 below is what it feels like right now up in the Peru area, 15 below in Lafayette. So where do our wind chill values go from here? Well, the wind will start to subside just a little bit, and as the temperatures come up, the wind chills will start to ease just a little bit, but we're still talking about negative numbers until at least 10, 11 o'clock. Then we'll climb into the single digits, eventually the teens later on this evening, as our actual high temperature gets up to right around 20 degrees. So one of the reasons why we're so cold is, one, we have a new air mass in place, but the skies are also clear, and we have snow on the ground. So where you saw those negative numbers up to the north, the snowpack is a little deeper, and that's why those temperatures are just a little bit colder. And as far as going forward, thankfully we have a pretty quiet stretch of weather for us. We've had several weekends in a row where it's either rained or snowed on Saturday or Sunday. I think going forward in this forecast, not only is your Valentine's Day today going to be a bright day, but we'll also feature dry conditions over the weekend, even though we do see a little more in the way of cloud cover heading our way. So this evening, if you have plans with your loved ones, temperatures will be falling back down into the teens, so you'll need to bundle up if you are going to be out and about. And then tomorrow morning, it's still cold, down into the single digits to the north, about 12 in Indianapolis. Not as cold, though, as it is this morning. And the other difference is, unlike today, where we're going to struggle to warm throughout the day, even with the sunshine, tomorrow temperatures will moderate pretty quickly. In fact, by the noon hour tomorrow, we should be above freezing, with high temperatures right around 40 degrees and skies that'll be partly cloudy. Fast forward into the day on Sunday, 42 degrees, a mixture of sun and clouds for you, a real pleasant seasonable day. Our normal high temperature this time of year is 40 degrees. So the weekend is going to be fairly seasonable going forward. Beyond the weekend, on Monday, that's our next storm system. There briefly could be a quick period of wet snow at the start of that storm system, but with the temperature getting up to near 50 degrees, it quickly goes over to rain. So I do not think, or I'm not anticipating many issues from any wintry weather with that storm system. Of course, the rain may cause some issues, and then some showers continue into Tuesday before that system moves out, followed by temperatures back into the mid-30s by Wednesday and Thursday. Lauren?
All right, Todd, thanks so much. We have our live drive out on the roads showing you what you can expect for your Friday morning commute. Our photographer, Shay Goodpaster's in the driver's seat. This is a dash cam view of eastbound I-70 near Post Road. You see traffic is traveling up to speed this morning. Just bundle up. And keep in mind, we do have several school delays this morning. Check the full list on the RTV6 app.
So have you filed your taxes yet? It's time. Come on. New at 6:27, we'll share with you how to find those free filing options so you don't waste your money.
And February is American Heart Month, and each morning we're giving you a tip for a healthier lifestyle. You can make sure the food you're buying at the store is heart healthy by looking for a heart check mark on the packaging. These tips are all part of the Go Red for Women campaign, sponsored by the American Heart Association. We'll be right back.
The 2020 Altima.
is 6:24 on your Friday. It is time to take a look at what's trending at 6. The sun. It sounds pretty nice today. We might see a little sunshine today. Yeah, but we are getting our first images from the surface of the sun this morning. A hot place, unlike what we have here today. The Parker Solar Probe has released early data from its mission to be the first spacecraft to touch the sun. Yeah, the images are the closest view we've ever seen from the sun. The Parker Solar Probe is still about 4 million miles from the sun's surface. It's expected to fly closer over the next few years.
It kind of just looks like a screen grab from an Avengers movie or something like that.
Yeah, pretty crazy.
Well, Stockton University student Julie Coker is the president of the nonprofit supporting mental health awareness. When she went to the taping of an MTV show, she got the surprise of a lifetime, a check from Justin Bieber worth $100,000. Bieber says he chose Coker to help further her work in mental health awareness.
Wow.
Bieber bucks, love it.
Yeah, that's awesome.
I have the best story of the day. We are 100 days away from the green flag dropping for the 104th running of the Indianapolis 500. The race will feature Simon Pagenaud looking for his second consecutive 500 victory. This year's race, of course, brings some changes to the oval at 16th and Georgetown. Most notably, as you know, Roger Penske's first as the track's owner. The field of 33 will battle to be the first to cross the bricks on Sunday, May the 24th. We cannot wait for that day. We cannot wait for the weather. So,
Maybe there will be like a 7 or an 8 in front of that 3 that is down in the corner right now of your television.
That sounds great. So we're 100 days away from the 500. That means 101 days away from Memorial Day, which is the unofficial start of summer. So we'll be here before you know it. And the good news is with this cold air that's in place this morning, it's just a quick shot of very cold air that'll be with us throughout the morning hours. We're in the single digits through 8 a.m., 14 degrees by the noon hour. And then as we get into the afternoon hours, as you give your Valentine the chocolate, your sunshine is in the forecast. We revealed it there as we pulled the chocolates away. For high temperature, 20 degrees. Just don't stand outside with those flowers too long or the cold is going to get to them, ladies.
All right, I like that, Todd. Thanks so much. Okay, so many people who qualify for free tax filing end up paying in the end, and that's because preparers make those free filing sites too tough to find. Well, that is finally changing this year.
Working for you, John Mattery shows us some changes you need to know about so you don't waste your money.
Good news about tax filing this year. The IRS has made it easier than ever to file free by preventing companies from steering you to their paid sites instead. But free filing still comes with some catches, including one very frustrating glitch. The IRS has taken some of the frustration out of free filing, which sounds so easy but is often so difficult.
Automatically put me in deluxe, and I thought, I did not make that kind of money.
In past years, companies often hid their free filing pages so that taxpayers ended up paying. But under a new agreement with the IRS, tax prep firms like TurboTax have agreed to make their free file sites easy to find on Google or on their homepage. So if your adjusted gross income is $69,000 or less this year, you should qualify for free filing. But from the dozen that stink filed, one catch that will trip up taxpayers again this year. Not all companies use the $69,000 threshold. At TaxAct, it's $59,000. And with TurboTax, it's just $36,000 for most people. You might say, doesn't that stink? If you start entering your data and find you don't qualify with that preparer.
Your best bet is simply start at the IRS website and go through their free file section. That way you'll end up with a preparer that meets your income level and you don't waste your money. Working for you, I'm John Mattery. Good morning, Indiana.
John, thanks. For more cost-saving tips and ideas, visit the money section of our website, theindychannel.com.
This is Good Morning Indiana, working for you.
Now on Good Morning Indiana on this Friday morning, this is your 6:30 news feed. Police working to learn more about a shooting on the east side that left a man dead last night. Investigators found a man with critical injuries on Sherman Drive. That's near Washington Street around 7 p.m. He later died at the hospital. Police still trying to figure out what led to that gunfire.
A Boone County pediatrician accused of committing sex crimes against children in his care has been found guilty. A jury convicted 42-year-old Dr. Jonathan Cavins of child molesting, sexual misconduct with a minor, and child seduction. The case came to light after a 12-year-old boy told his parents that Cavins molested him during an examination. Later, 4 more victims came forward.
The FBI is asking for help tracking down this man who they say should be considered extremely dangerous. James Taylor is 25 years old, and he's wanted for violating his probation following the robbery of a pharmaceutical business and for a theft case in Marion County. The FBI says he is also wanted for questioning about a string of recent bank robberies.
A new audit says that 2 online charter schools owe the state of Indiana nearly $86 million. The audit says the Indiana Virtual School and the Indiana Virtual Pathways Academy inappropriately paid the money to companies linked to the school's founder or associates. Both schools were shut down in August after inflating enrollment numbers and wrongly receiving millions in state payments.
Well, Shake Shack is coming to Fishers. The company says it will open its first street-side location in Indiana on 116th Street. Shake Shack's menu features burgers, hot dogs, frozen custard, and milkshakes. Construction on that restaurant is expected to begin sometime this year. Shake Shack's new location at the Indianapolis International Airport is expected to open this summer.
So nice of you guys to put up all those pictures of what I want for Valentine's Day.
I got you.
A hamburger,
I got
and
you.
some
I got
French
you. Make that happen.
fries,
That's
and a
the easy
milkshake. I don't ask for much.
Yeah.
I do ask for, however, a little bit of warmer weather because this is not something we have seen in almost a year, Todd.
Yeah, you know, we're down to 4 degrees. We haven't been this cold since March of last year. We've been in the single digits last month in December and November, but it's only been one-day deals. That's the ironic thing about this winter. We haven't really had any prolonged period of Arctic air. It's just been these quick shots where the Arctic air has been in and out, and that's a good thing, right? Temperatures this morning, as Meredith alluded to, very, very cold. -3 in Peru right now, -2 in Lafayette, 7 in Bloomington. They're down to -2 in Kokomo. It's -5 right now in Frankfurt, -1 in Marion. So where the thicker snowpack is to the north, that's where temperatures are running in the negative numbers. But anyway, you look at it, whether you're in the negative numbers or sitting at 2-3 degrees, it's a bitter cold day, and that's where we stay through the duration of your morning commute. There's going to be no warming until probably 10, 11 o'clock. That's when you'll start to notice the change. Thankfully, while it's cold, we don't have to worry about any snow in this forecast. Skies are mainly clear across the area, and as we go throughout the course of the day today, eventually high temperatures on this Valentine's Day climb up to about 18 in Lafayette, 22 in Greenwood, mid-20s down to the south. So definitely have the heavier coat, the hat and gloves handy as you walk out the door this morning, Lauren.
Todd, thank you. We are keeping a close eye on your roads this morning. Right now, we want to give you a look from Live Drive. This is a dash cam view of I-70 westbound between Mount Comfort Road and Post Road. Traffic here is moving along up to speed, but it is frigid out there this morning. Because of that, we have more than 60 school delays right now rolling in. Those are on the RTV6 app and also scrolling at the bottom of your screen, and they include areas out east like this, like Greenfield Central and several schools in Hancock County. So check those before you send the kids out to the bus stop this morning.
Here at 6:32 and only on RTV6 as we mark 3 years since the murders of 2 teens in Delphi, a park with purpose and promise is now under construction.
They will honor Libby German and Abby Williams, who were founded on this date back in 2017. Now, depending on the funding and weather permitting, the Legacy Park is expected to be ready next year for that traditional call, play ball.
Hope and pray every day that justice for the girls is given.
This park is about hope, the hope of people who raise money for the amphitheater on the way, the hope of local businesses, which helped clear the property, and the hope of Abby and Libby's families that future diamonds and a stage will bring people together.
We're going to have something that will stand the test of time.
In recent months, Purdue University donated these light poles and lights to illuminate portions of the field. Other contributions have included some fencing and assistance from multiple companies like Duke Energy. But the project still remains in the early stages, with big-ticket items like landscaping, field equipment, restrooms, and a concessions area still on the list.
And when I'm out here working and start to get tired, and I think about what this is for. This isn't for me. This is for our community and our girls. And that gives me the extra boost of energy.
The flag has been planted on completing a dream by showcasing multiple fields and celebrating a firm commitment to honoring Abby and Libby. It is all about hope there in Delphi. Now, to make a donation to the park, you can write a check to L&A Park Foundation. The P.O. Box is 431 in Delphi. 46923 is the zip code. You can also make cash donations at the Security Federal Bank branch there. And law enforcement this morning and every day encourages anyone with information in this case that knows anything about the people you see right there, the sketch or that video, to call the tip line. That number is 844-459-5786.
And as we remember the day Abby and Libby were found 3 years ago, law enforcement continues their search for their killer. Meanwhile, others are working to delve further into the Delphi daughters case. Who were they? What happened on that day? Working to keep this story in the forefront of our minds in hopes of finally getting those answers. Our Alyssa Donovan is joining us live this morning. And Alyssa, I know you spoke to producers of a new podcast that focuses completely on this case. What did they have to say?
That's right. And of course, there's a lot of podcasts that delve into this case, if not on an individual basis, on an extended basis. But the producers of this podcast say that their goal is to just simply keep this story alive, and using a medium like podcasting reaches a wider audience that may not be as familiar with what happened in February of 2017. The podcast Down the Hill takes listeners through the day the girls went missing.
And before you know it, everybody in town knows there's something wrong.
To the minute they were found.
Less than a quarter mile from the bridge, Libby's sister Kelsey hears searchers discover a black Nike shoe.
And the investigation that followed. Andrew Iden and Barbara McDonald tell me that along with the basics, listeners will hear from people in the community, law enforcement, and family members of both Abby and Libby.
We're trying to make sure that we give people the opportunity to hear this story from the voices of all the people who are living it every single day.
True crime podcasts have been credited with helping authorities with other cases, like the podcast The Murder Squad, which was recently credited with leading to an arrest in a cold case from the 80s. And the podcast The Teacher's Pet led to a new investigation into a cold case in Australia. Iden and McDonald say they're not trying to solve this case, but they hope bringing Abby and Libby's story to a wider audience will make a difference.
There's so many people interested in true crime that if we can get our story out to some of those people, hopefully we can move the needle and make some progress.
Indiana State Police Sergeant Kim Riley tells me that he is featured on the podcast, and he also says that he believes this podcast could help keep this story going and keep people aware of Abby and Libby and what happened to them, hopefully bringing in some new tips. And he reiterates that someone knows something, they just need the right person to come forward. Reporting live, Alyssa Donovan, RTV6.
Alyssa, thank you. Hopefully these stories, podcasts, reach that right person who has something to say.
And it is hard to believe we are still here 3 years later with very little answers as to what happened, and we cannot reiterate enough that if you do feel as though you know something, even the smallest bit of information, it needs to be passed on to authorities, not posted to social media. That has caused a lot of confusion in this case.
And every time I talk to the Delphi families, they want you also to remember the girls in Flora. 4 girls killed in a house fire also in Carroll County months earlier before their girls went missing. And so they want people to really remember these young girls as well, and to call the hotline and report if you know anything about what happened there in Flora. Again, 6 Carroll County children killed in a matter of months. All families heartbroken, and all the families want answers this morning.
We're thinking of all of them. Taking a turn now, he is breathing new life into a piece of his small town's history. Up next, our Kelsey Anderson shows us how this man's idea is bringing his community together.
And the ongoing battle to help more babies live. Coming up, RTV6 is on the road looking for ways to reduce one of the highest infant mortality rates in the country. It's 6:39. We'll be right back.
Extraordinary rate today.
RTV6 hit the road to show you the state's latest effort in curbing Indiana's high infant mortality rate. Call 6 Investigates has been covering this issue and holding top state officials accountable for months as Indiana ranks one of the worst states in the country for babies dying before their first birthdays. We traveled to Fort Wayne in Allen County, which is the first of 20 counties to have an OB Navigator program. It was established there to connect at-risk pregnant women with critical prenatal care services. The program finds and contacts women who are enrolled in Medicaid and connects them with providers and home visitation services like Healthier Moms and Babies.
Many of the moms that we serve are, maybe homeless, on the verge of homelessness. They could be in an unsafe and unhealthy relationship. They might have another child, but childcare is so expensive, rent is so expensive, and they're working a minimum wage job. Those are really factors that impact their pregnancy.
Last year, Healthier Moms and Babies received about 1,500 referrals from community partners. So far, they've received a handful of referrals from the OB Navigator. Madison, Delaware, Henry, and Grant counties are next in line for that program.
You can feel it. We're in the middle of winter, but the stage being set for some summer fun. Next, we'll update you on a big project happening at White River State Park. But first, let's check in with your morning drive forecast with TK. Good morning, Todd.
Raphael, good morning to you. Good morning, everybody. A bitter cold start to our day across the area. Many of you are below zero right now with actual temperatures. Some of you in the single digits. We'll stay in the single digits for the duration of your morning drive. But the good news is the skies are clear, so you will not encounter any snowfall here this morning. We'll talk about the warm-up that does quickly commence over the weekend. Coming all in your Storm Team 6 forecast. The time now, 6:43. Stay with us. We'll be right back.
Flooring, floors to your home, that too.
Welcome back to Good Morning, Indiana. The time now is 6:45. The town of Trafalgar is a small one, but mighty. And one man in Johnson County is working to turn a part of its unused history into a place that people can gather and grow.
That's right. Now our Kelsey Anderson joins us live this morning with this man's story, and it's pretty interesting. Kelsey, good morning.
Hey, good morning, Raphael and Lauren. So yeah, right now we're in the Southern Comfort Cafe, but this used to be the Indian Creek Elementary School, and it was vacant for 4 years when it closed in 2016 until a Trafalgar man had a crazy idea.
If I'd known that this was the way it was going to be, I'd have said, hey, do it a long time ago.
This is one of many happy customers at the Southern Comfort Cafe, which isn't where you'd think it'd be.
The whole entire school is empty. Wouldn't it be awesome if we did a restaurant here and put my home in it?
So that's exactly what James Lockard did. Now he works and lives here at Indian Creek Elementary.
Has anyone told you that you're nuts?
A lot of people.
I kind of told them, I said, don't move, don't move.
But he did move, and now the cafe downstairs draws in locals who used to roam the halls as students.
We have one guy that comes in and talked about smoking in the boys' room, of course. And Joe, he was the principal. He knew exactly who it was when I told him. He said, oh, yeah, he got in trouble for that a lot.
But he doesn't just work here. He's also moved his family in. He's converted classrooms into bedrooms and even has a full kitchen upstairs. But it's not just about him. The stories he hears from the past are what keeps the community at the forefront of this project.
We're not one of them companies that's going to come in and just tear the place down just to benefit us. We actually want to be here to benefit the community, too.
Lockard plans to open up the gym as an event space, and the extra classrooms, rental spaces for other entrepreneurs to get a jump start on their own ideas, even if they're as crazy as his.
We can work together and kind of, make your dream come true as well.
Lockard has only been in the school since the first of the year, and he says this school is 67,000 square feet, and the options here are endless. Reporting live, Kelsey Anderson, RTV6.
Very cool. Thank you, Kelsey. With today as cold as it is, we sure could do something to help us think about summer. Well, before you know it, it will be time to get outside and enjoy the park or maybe even a concert.
Yeah, today's not the day, but the day is coming, and with those summer concerts just only months away, progress is being made as the construction continues at White River State Park.
Yeah, the park has only had a temporary stage, you may remember, in the past, and some portable restrooms since those concerts first began back back in 2004. Now, the first phase of this construction on a permanent stage is already done, which includes a ticket office and 60 permanent restrooms. Now they're working to build the stage and install 3,000 seats. Some people we talked with are excited, but others say they wanted more input on the improvements. Construction is expected to wrap up in June, and the first concert is Bare Naked Ladies. That's scheduled for July 5th.
Okay, Todd is working on something right now, and I don't like the look. Oh,
I know.
He took it away.
Hey, what is that?
Did you not want me to reveal what you had up there?
I wasn't going to get it done in time. I thought when we had that story earlier, there were two guys that gave their opinions, so I was trying to get the graphic done, but we didn't have it this time.
Well, we don't want to know. Okay, so what was the answer? It said coldest ever January.
Yeah, so what I was trying to do is I was going to tell you the record low temperature for the day today, which would have been minus 14 degrees.
Oh, so we shouldn't complain.
I was putting 4 degrees kind of in perspective, saying it could be much worse. I just didn't get to it. But I'll get it out there, and I'll tweet it out for you later. All right, here are your current temperatures. -3 right now in Peru, -2 in Lafayette. 4 is the current temperature in Indianapolis. This is the coldest temperature not only this year, but you have to go all the way back to March of last year to find a temperature that was colder, at least in Indianapolis. Look at some of these numbers, though, to the north. -7 right now in Frankfort, -2 in Kokomo, feels like 3 below in Marion, Anderson at 2. The difference is the further north you are, the snowpack is a little deeper, and that's why your temperatures are a little bit colder. But anyway, you want to slice the cake here. This morning it is frigid all across central Indiana. Factor in the wind. That wind really picked up yesterday when that cold front went through. It feels like 16 below right now in Peru. -11 is what it feels like currently in Indianapolis. So as we go throughout the course of the day today, you probably have plans, or hopefully you have plans with your Valentine. If they do involve being outside, especially for an extended period of time, make sure you bundle up. We're only at 14 degrees by the noon hour. 18 will be your 4 p.m. temperature after a high right around 20 degrees. And of course, when you factor in the wind, which will start to subside a little bit, it'll feel even colder than that. Thankfully, we don't have any precipitation across the area. It is clear this morning. You look back off to the west, a lot of clear skies here as well. So that is the nice quiet weather that we'll be enjoying going all the way into the weekend. It's been a while since we've had a dry weekend, but this weekend looks like it's going to be decent. This evening, here is your temperature trend, falling from 19 at 7 p.m. to 15 degrees by the time we get to 9 p.m. with partly cloudy skies. Tomorrow morning, it's still cold. We're in the single digits to the north, about 12 in Indianapolis. The difference is tomorrow our temperature will moderate quite quickly across the area. Unlike today, tomorrow we're up to 39 degrees, Sunday 42. Saturday and Sunday won't be as bright as it is today. There'll be a little more in the way of cloud covers or cloud cover around, but we are not looking at any precipitation during the day on Sunday. That comes in on Monday into Tuesday in the form of some rain across the area, and so that will be our next storm system. And it looks like there could be some decent rainfall totals as we get into the day on Monday. You notice also I have snow written there. That is right at the beginning. There could be a little bit of a wintry mix at the start, but it quickly goes over to all rain as the high gets up to 49 degrees. And then those rain showers continue into Tuesday before we start to dry out Tuesday afternoon. Lauren?
All right, Todd, thanks so much. Here is a live look from a live drive vehicle traveling westbound, leaving the downtown area there at the South Split, heading towards West Street. You can see traffic is moving along up to speed all around the metro area this morning. That's a good thing. We do have some school delays, though, more than 60 of them. Check the RTV6 app before you head out there.
Good News Friday is next, and we have a wonderful story about how hundreds of thousands wanted to be this man's Valentine. That's coming up.
Visit the Hiring Hoosiers job board.
All right, it is time for Good News Friday. That's where we wrap up your work week with some stories that will hopefully leave you with a warm feeling on this cold day.
Yeah, and so we're going to have to let Raf tell this first story since this is more from his generation, or as Lauren always says, oh, those were the days.
Good old days. By the way, happy Valentine's Day.
Thank you.
And thank you for calling me vintage. So you see, a big honor for two men who gave the 1970s, especially the kids, some memorable, but maybe possibly some campy Saturday morning TV shows. The brothers behind some big TV hits in the 70s, Lauren. The 70s was one of the decades in history. Now have a star on the Hollywood Walk of Fame. You see, Sid and Marty Krofft created such shows such as HR, Puff and Stuff. Land of the Lost was amazing. Electra Woman and Dinah Girl. And of course, the big primetime staples such as the Donnie and Marie Show, which Lauren, you're a little bit country, and Meredith, you're a little bit rock and roll.
Yeah.
See, look at that. Look at that.
Oh my gosh, so maybe we will take your word do a revival of the Meredith and Lauren Show.
I am bridging the generations. Here we go. Look at the love on this Valentine's Day.
Yeah. Okay, well, here's a good story. An update on a 104-year-old World War II vet. We told you about it a few weeks ago here on Good Morning Indiana. Bill White was hoping to gather about 100 Valentine's Day cards to add to his scrapbook collection. Well, he did that and much more. White received more than 300,000 personal messages and thank you notes from all around the world.
Thousands of handwritten cards, balloons, flowers, even boxes of chocolate for Valentine's Day. White was sent messages from all 50 states, plus from places as far away as North Korea and Australia. He says he is overwhelmed with gratitude, and that just makes me overwhelmed looking at all that love that he received. Oh, so great.
Yes. Let's not graze the forecast.
Yeah. No. How we follow that story with temperatures in the single digits this morning, a high right around 20 later on this afternoon.
All right, happy Valentine's Day. We're back in 25 minutes and throughout Good Morning America.
Have a day filled with love.
Have a great weekend. Goodbye.